Yo, what is up guys, and welcome to InfernoKun back with The Walking Dead, the final season, talking about episode 3, about these two characters, both Violet and Lewis. This video is on Lewis, but my Violet video is up for your viewing, so head over and watch my Violet video after, or before this one, I'm not sure. But anyways, let's move on to my man Lewis, the funniest guy in The Walking Dead, rivaling that of Omid. Okay, so Lewis in episode 2 was developed quite a lot. We got to learn a lot about him, and he kind of showed a more serious side to himself, which was definitely really great to see from a character like this, who was more of the funny guy, but you know, also he got to show some of his serious side as well. So episode 2, okay, started off with, of course, Lewis losing his best friend, Marlon, who did some unspeakable stuff, which kind of made him a bit confused on how to feel, which I am very glad that he was a bit confused, because that was his best friend that AJ killed, and he was very conflicted on, you know, what bad things Marlon did, and of course the death of his, you know, best friend. So seeing that from Lewis in episode 2 was definitely really great. Okay, he was really mean, but he had a reason to. Okay, AJ murdered his best friend, and that's definitely a good cause to act the way he did in episode 2. So yeah, he was grieving in his own way, caused Clementine to, of course, leave and get kicked out of the group, various things like that. And he was always, you know, kind of, you know, feeling bad about it, because they are two human beings who are being kicked out on their own to potentially die. And he definitely felt remorseful for having to make that decision in episode 2. You can see on his face various different times Clem and AJ are talking about their struggles in the woods alone, and he definitely kind of has some sad faces at some time. So that's definitely really great to see as well. Now in episode 3, I definitely want to see if you go ahead and keep him uncaptured. I want to see more of that. I definitely want to see more of his serious sad side, and also his funny side as well, because that is the best part of him. But hopefully we get to see more of that in episode 3. Okay, so moving on later in the episode, we kind of get to the part where he's explaining why he's acting like he is, and that was definitely like one of the best scenes in episode 2. Just him explaining that, hey, Marlon was always pulling the heavy work while I joked around, and that definitely does describe his character. Now looking at the differences between Violet and Lewis, is that Violet became the leader in episode 2 in a little bit. She steps up and she becomes the leader, okay? And Lewis doesn't do that. He kind of just hung around as usual like he did before. Of course, he went ahead and prepared for stuff like that, but he was never in a leader position, and we can all agree that Lewis probably wouldn't make the best leader. I mean, he could, but he wouldn't be too serious. He joke around a lot, and that's kind of just how he is. And that's why Violet was the one to go ahead and step up and, you know, assume command over the boarding school. So that's one difference that I noticed, and of course many of you probably have as well, that of course are differences between Lewis and Violet as characters. Now, seeing as, you know, Lewis did not become the leader, Violet being taken away could open up a potential, looking at it this way, okay, so the new leader gets taken away, Violet, okay, and now Lewis is left, you know, without Violet, without Marlon. Someone has to step up, and it probably isn't going to be him. That leaves Clementine as well. So I was thinking, maybe if Violet wasn't taken, then she'll continue to be the leader, but maybe she'd feel bad, therefore Clementine may become the leader as well. So we'll see about that. That could be a potential, you know, plot thing, because I think that with Lewis being, you know, not captured, Clem may actually just transition smoothly into her new leader position, whereas you look at Violet, it might be a little bit of a rough transition. It could be something like that, but we'll see. That's definitely really cool to think about. Now, other than that, let's go ahead and move on to the romance, okay? So you have a chance to go ahead and romance Lewis in episode 2, and of course that was definitely a really cool scene as well. Definitely really awesome, and I want to see how that plays out in episode 3. You know, if Lewis is, you know, captured, or even if he's not captured, those could both be just both different outcomes that are really cool to think about. If he's not captured, then, you know, that could, you know, open up time for Clementine and Lewis, more romance and things like that. Learning more about him and his past, which is definitely confirmed to happen. We will get more information on, you know, Lewis's past and why he's a troubled kid or whatever. And then looking at him being captured, what could possibly happen if he is in episode 3. Now, there was a picture, of course, it was released by Telltale staff on the day of their layoff, or at least the week of, or things like that. There's a picture that I thought was just, you know, a little bit of a reference to how his face should be, and Lewis had no hair. And people were saying, hey, what if Lewis gets captured and they shave his hair off? Because long hair, which his dreads aren't that long, but long hair could potentially be a danger. Because you look at Lily, you look at the concept art of Minerva, which you may or may not have seen, and you look at various different characters like, of course, Abel, he's a male. Looking at the females that were brought along, their hair aren't that long, so it makes sense that they want to go ahead and keep all their hair short, and maybe they go ahead and cut off Lewis's hair because you can easily grab those dreads. Therefore, they might shave his head. So what do you guys think about that? Lewis actually getting his head shaved if he gets captured? That would be very awkward to see in game for the most part, but I'm not sure about that. Anyways, moving on. As far as that goes, making guesses regarding his troubledness as a kid, I'm not entirely sure. Obviously, him and Marlon were best friends. I would think that, you know, looking at Violet, her troubledness could be more akin to her having outbursts or something like that. Looking at Marlon, he may have just been the same way. But Lewis, what made him troubled? I'm not sure. What could have happened with Lewis's past that could be explained in episode 3? You know, he's more of a funny jokester. Maybe he took some jokes too far? I'm not sure. That would be a little bit of a weird reason to go ahead and send somebody to a boarding school. But man, I hope that we actually get a really cool scene or really cool explanation on Lewis's past and more about him, because he's definitely a really, really interesting character that I'd love to know, you know, a lot more about him in his past, you know, without Clementine being there and various things like that. I want to see all of that. It's very interesting to go ahead and think about that and what could possibly be shown in episode 3. Now, as far as more further along into episode 3 regarding the potential attempted rescue of Violet and Asim and Omar, of course we'll have Clementine probably being the leader, Lewis probably being the second in command, Clem's right-hand man, various things like that. That'd be very interesting to see how that plays out. And as far as Violet actually getting captured instead of Lewis, I wonder if, you know, Violet will actually end up like wanting to stay there because Minerva's there, and you may have never romanced Violet. Therefore, hey, her and Minerva could be a thing now that she's actually there, and you have Lewis with you. Therefore, that opens up that possibility. So, for the most part, that's pretty much all I have regarding Lewis in episode 3. I wonder if he's gonna die if you go ahead and have him captured. Or will he end up surviving? Will he get his hair actually cut? His dreads cut? If you go ahead and let him get captured? Various things like that. A bunch of things could possibly happen. We have, of course, some branching choices that will happen in episode 3 regarding both Violet and Lewis. And I definitely can't wait to see how Lewis's version plays out. It sounds like it could be a really, really cool episode for these two characters, and I'm definitely looking forward to all of the content. So thank you all for watching. If you guys do have your own predictions for episode 3 regarding my man Lewis, be sure to go ahead and comment them down below. I would definitely love to see them. Okay, so also I want to see all of the Clementine and Lewis fans down in the comments below, because those two are great. Clem and Violet are great. And of course, for those of you who think Clem and Alone is great as well, hey, more power to you. But anyways, looking forward to seeing what happens with these two characters. That ends my discussion for these two. Hopefully, maybe I could possibly have more regarding Lewis and more regarding Violet in the future. I definitely want to just go ahead and focus on Violet and Minerva and Clementine. That could be an interesting discussion, but I don't want to go ahead and like section off a video I already did into a video on its own. I may do it, but we'll see about that. Thank you all for watching this video. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you guys have enjoyed, and subscribe for more Walking Dead content on the channel. I'm InfernoKun, and I'll catch you guys next time on The Walking Dead.